Hello, friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. All right, I got a little mission I need to go on today. For the last few days, every time Byte comes up and visits me on the chair when I'm watching TV, I've been noticing that fleas are jumping off of him and onto me. This is the first time that I've ever had evidence that they've actually had fleas. They've lived their entire 12 plus years of life, and to best of my knowledge, have never had a flea on them. Well, that's changed. Apparently, it's more of an issue here in Texas than it ever was in California. So I got to deal with this because if there's fleas jumping on me, that means Byte has them. If Byte has them, Nibble has them. So we're going to go look into this now. I've been hearing about this product called Advantage for many years. It's a flea control product. I'd never really paid that much attention to it because, it was never anything I really ever needed. At first, I actually thought it was like a pill that I had to feed the cats, and I ruled that out immediately because there's no way that I was going to be able to get Nibble to take a pill on a regular basis. She's already, uh, you know, antisocial enough, and if I'm having to capture her on a daily basis to feed her a pill, that's just not going to work. But apparently, this Advantage stuff is just drops that you place on their fur, and it's usually good for a month. You know what? I think I can deal with that. So, what I want to do is I'm going to go over to a vet today and just talk to them and see what's going on about this and get their opinion on it. And I'm not even going to bring the cats at this point. I just want to talk to them because you know what? I know I've confirmed it's definitely fleas. They may need to look at the cat. We'll cross that bridge if we have to. But if I can avoid having to bring them into the vet today, that will be preferable if we can do that. So let's go look into this, and hopefully we can provide the cats a little comfort. All right, so that was relatively simple. I didn't even have to see the vet. I just talked to the cashier there, and she kind of understood what was going on. And they have like a generic product that they use that they actually prefer over the Advantage stuff. So I've got that. It's one of those things it's an over-the-counter thing that I can order online, and basically it's like a little tube of goo that you put on the back of their neck, and it's good for a month. So I got 2 doses. That's all they actually had in stock. But apparently what I can do, they don't keep it in stock that much because sometimes it kind of goes bad before they sell it. So what they're kind of recommending is you go through their corporate office and you can order it online. So I'll just do that from time to time. And it's, like I said, it's good for a month. And it's going to be a lot easier than trying to put a pill into Nibble's mouth. I'm pretty sure I could pill Byte pretty well because he's pretty tolerant of that kind of stuff. But I didn't want to traumatize Nibble, and if I can just spray something on her back, once a month, you know what, I think I can handle that. So let's go home and see if we can provide the kitties a little bit of relief. All right, so that was actually easier than I thought it would be. I got them both in their room. They were both on the top shelf, so I just got up there on a chair, got up there with them. Byte, is usually the more tolerant of them, and Nibble would usually be the one to hiss at me, but she just was very tolerant. She just let me put it on her back, and it was interesting because when I got up there and got real close to her, I could see that she had fleas on her. That was something I wasn't able to see with Byte. I wasn't able to actually see the fleas. I just knew that they were there because when he'd come up and visit me on the chair up here, the fleas would be jumping on me. So, but when I actually got up there and applied the treatment to Nibble, I could actually see them on her. So hopefully that'll provide them a little bit of comfort. It's supposed to take about 12 hours for it to kick in. And like I said, it's a monthly thing, so I'll have to do it. But if I can get to the point where, it's just that easy to apply it, then that won't be a problem at all. Also want to kind of give you an update on my parents. As you know, about 2 weeks ago, shortly after I left, and I think the day after my father had his TIPS procedure, he had a little bit of a setback where his blood pressure went very, very low again. And they were so concerned about it, in fact, that they actually moved him into ICU for about a day. Now they got him back, they got his blood pressure kind of under control, and he spent the next 4 or 5 days in kind of a ward room where, there were a whole bunch of beds in there, and he wasn't on his own. Well, a few days ago, he went back to into a more private room. He's not actually in a private room right now. He's in a room with 2 beds, but he's out of the ward, and he's actually doing much better. And they've been allowing him to have a visit from his physical therapist. And, he's been raring to get up and walk again. He loves doing that. Every day when I was visiting him a few weeks ago, I had been given permission by the physical therapist to actually take him out and walk him around. And every day that we did it, he wanted to break his previous day's record. Well, the physical therapist has been a little bit reluctant, and he isn't quite up to breaking his record, the record he set with me yet. But, he's getting there, and every day he's walking more. And like I said, our record was a little over 1,000 feet on the last day I was there. And, he's up to about 500 feet as of 2 days ago. So I think he's doing a lot better. They were talking at this point that he might be able to go home as early as today. Today is Monday for the record, because you're going to be probably watching this about Thursday or Friday, just because I'm a few days ahead on that kind of stuff. Also, my mother has a live-in person, well, not a live-in person, but a person who spends about 40 hours a week during the week, coming and visiting and doing like laundry and doing a little cleaning around the house and helping my mom wash her hair and driving her to hair appointments and driving her to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. She actually had one person that came in initially that she couldn't stand right off the bat, and she sent her packing. But the second person came in. My mom was really, really fond of her, likes her a lot. She's taking really good care of my mom, so that's a good thing. Now, a couple days ago, I got a message from Life Alert telling me that my mother had triggered her Life Alert bracelet because she had fallen and kind of popped her head real good on the ground and was bleeding. I was actually a little reluctant because if you remember, last time I got a call from Life Alert, they told me my father had fallen and was bleeding. And so I'm sitting there saying, you know what? Last time you guys called me and said that someone was bleeding, they weren't bleeding and they hadn't fallen. So can we confirm that she actually fell and that she was actually bleeding? And the person on the operator said, yeah, we actually talked to her. She fell and popped her head open a little bit and was bleeding, and that they had taken her to the hospital to deal with it. Now, fortunately, it wasn't anything serious. They stapled up the back of her head with a couple staples and sent her home that night. Now, that was another example kind of how my mom, really came to appreciate this assisted living person, because apparently the assisted living person literally got in the car and followed the ambulance to the hospital just because she wanted to make sure my mom was going to be able to get back home again. And she supposedly her hours were supposed to end at a certain time, but she wanted to stay and help my mom. And so she called into the office, into her boss, said, hey, yeah, is it all right if I stay a little bit, explain what happened, and is it all right if I stay a little late and to help her? And she was given permission to do that. And that really impressed my mom. So I think my mom has found somebody really good. And when we get to the point where my father goes home, hopefully today, if not today, in the next couple of days, hopefully that will be a very good match for them, and she'll be able to deal with both of them. So like I said, keep my parents in your prayers, both of them. My mom is okay. She, like I said, got a couple staples in the back of the head, but she's doing fine. And like I said, was home that night and is doing really well. So I have one more thing I want to say. I want to thank my newest Patreon, Michael Fox. Thank you so much, Michael, for contributing to my channel. And that is all that I have for today. So thank you so much for watching, as always. And I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.